This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, Who is Creating the Culture of Hatred? Following the mass shootings in Dayton and El Paso last week, President Trump came under fire by both the Democrats and the media for encouraging the incidents, which of course is baseless. There was no consideration for the wackos who actually shot the people. In the minds of the left, the president pulled the trigger, or at least that is what they want us to believe. Campaigning at the Iowa State Fair last week, former Vice President Joe Biden claimed, quote, "We have a problem with this rising tide of supremacy, white supremacy in America, and we have a president who encourages and emboldens it," end quote. Biden went on to say the president has fanned the flames of white supremacy in this nation in both language and code. Other Democrat presidential hopefuls made similar accusations. The mainstream media also made similar assertions. For example, the New York Times said, quote, "Trump has dragged us into the gutter," end quote. Politico, Trump's his own worst political enemy after tragedy. The Hill said Congress can't combat mass shootings due to McConnell and Trump being in bed with the gun lobby. And the New York Daily News had Trump tries to comfort America. Sorta. There was no interest in the rationale of the shooters. They just used it as a political opportunity to blame President Trump for anything going wrong, everything from tragedy to hemorrhoids. I still insist the Democrats and media would do this to any other Republican elected president in 2016, had it been Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, Chris Christie, Ted Cruz et al. They would have been smeared and vilified as much as Donald Trump. To illustrate, consider how they disparaged the character of President George W. Bush. By the end of his term, he was one of the most despised presidents, which opened the door to Barack Obama. The big difference, though, President Trump is willing to push back, unlike other Republican presidents, and much to the surprise of his opposition. Whenever they attack him, which is now a daily occurrence, he counterpunches on Twitter or on camera. Whereas other presidents accepted the abuse, President Trump does not. The Democrats and media are fully cognizant the president is not a racist, xenophobe, white supremacist, or whatever the adjective du jour happens to be. For example, Andrew Stein, a long-term Democrat from Manhattan who has known the president since 1973, insists he is no racist. Far from it. The Democrats and media would have us believe the president's rhetoric emboldens people to become white supremacists. In reality, it's the rhetoric emanating from the Democrats with their lies and deception that is angering them and causing people to form allegiance with Mr. Trump. There are simply a lot of people today who have had enough of these shenanigans and are forming ranks behind the president. The left may like the accusations, but moderates and conservatives have had enough. These false accusations spread by the Democrats, of course, is an old trick from the Saul Alinsky playbook, the legendary radical community organizer. Under his approach, all is fair in politics, regardless if it is ethical or not. In fact, he openly supported dirty tricks to mislead the public and elect his candidates. In all likelihood, this approach will backfire on the Democrats in 2020. For every false assertion they make, they drive another nail into their own coffin. Should the Democrats in the House vote to impeach the president, this will not be met with enthusiasm by the public, thereby causing the president to clinch the election. This is what happens when you do not have a bona fide party platform with positive ideas and programs to improve the country. Instead, they resort to dirty tricks. Make no mistake, it is not President Trump who is causing hate in the country. It is the Democrats, the same people who embrace slavery and Jim Crow laws, not the Republicans. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.